Hey, this is Dr. Stephanie Hack, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the Lady Parts Doctor YouTube channel. So today we're doing an excerpt from our Life Without Roe v. Wade, Reproductive Justice, and Other Musings podcast. All right, and let's just get started. So I have been thinking a lot about reproductive rights and how, although they're often politicized, they're often executed in the most mundane ways. You don't quite realize that you're executing your reproductive rights. So continue listening just to see exactly what I mean. I went to the dentist, this was a few weeks ago, and I went for the first time in years. Don't judge me. I had a really hard time finding a good dentist. It was a whole process, but the point is I finally went to the dentist. And as is the case with any new health related visit, I had a complete series of forms that I had to complete. And one of these forms was just to review my medical history, and it listed several conditions, and they had two vertical columns in a row. And basically, they had the condition listed and the two columns, and then I had to go through and mark yes or no. And so I did it the way I always do. I first go through, I just circle everything I have, and then everything else I just group together in big, large ovals. But one of the conditions I circled on my medical form was pregnant because at the time I was 20 weeks pregnant. And then from that moment, every person I encountered would reference my chart and then they would comment on my pregnancy. The dental assistant congratulated me as I sat in the chair, and then she made sure to talk about me getting a doctor's note before I could obtain some of the testing they wanted, like dental x-rays. I didn't tell her I was an OBGYN. I was just like, okay, because I didn't really want the x-rays anyway. Don't tell them. And then the dentist congratulated me and talked about his own children. He feigned dismay at my decision to try for another baby after already having two boys, which, we weren't really trying for one thing or another. My husband and I just knew that we wanted to have three children. And so we were blessed to be able to have three children. And then after talking to him, the dental hygienist made small talk about raising two children and her experience with her own preteens. On the way out, the receptionist asked if it was my first, and then she started sharing with me the experiences that she had with her own daughter. And my point is, everybody had something to say about my pregnancy. It was mostly small talk, but it was talked about often. And look, I didn't mind because, as I've shared with you before, this pregnancy has come after several losses, and I've had several scares during this pregnancy, especially around that time that I went to the dentist and in the weeks before. So I am happy to still be pregnant and with a seemingly healthy baby. And I will happily talk about it to anyone who will listen, aka you, because for me, it is a cause for celebration. But what if it wasn't? What if for financial, health, safety, or some other reason, I didn't want to be pregnant? Or maybe I was a surrogate and it wasn't a baby I was going to keep, or it was a baby I was going to put up for adoption. But again, what if I didn't want to be pregnant? So we'll go back to that. And despite my wishes, I was unable to follow through with my reproductive life plan. In other words, I was forced to continue my pregnancy against my will. What would that look like? If you want to know more about this, we're talking about it in the podcast on the website, or you can listen on Apple Podcasts. Check out the links in the comments section below. Life Without Roe v. Wade, Reproductive Justice, and Other Musings.